Hello everybody, welcome in. Today's Wednesday usual stream, European flight, Cessna Citation X, parked outside on the ramp. Welcome in, my name is Grantham, and today I'm very excited to be flying you from Venice International Airport, Marco Polo Airport in Italy to Sarajevo International in Bosnia and Herzegovina. So we are typically scheduled to depart in half an hour because we're in the 737, but today Citation X, as you've probably realised, takes considerably quicker. So it's usually 10 to 15 minutes. Standard that we use VATSIM. Let's hope that we got it. And again, some issues with the stream telling me that there's a drop in frame rate, but when I watched the last stream back, or parts of it at least, there was no drop at all. So thank you to anyone who was in chat then, anyone who's been watching the streams, who's been, you know, supporting the channel and the flights. It's good to see everyone, you know, enjoy. Well, many people, not everyone, but many people enjoying aviation and planes because it's such a fantastic thing. I absolutely love it, and I just wish more people would get into this sort of thing, especially the simulation. I know there's a lot of looking down on it, so we're not going to mess around. We're going to hop straight in. It's just looking so beautiful there on the ramp. I could stand here all day taking pictures. So we're in the a different livery once again. I thought I'd go for a little bit more fancy, shall we say. And as you can see, I'm not in the cockpit in this view, which is very, very interesting. Because I've stepped out of the cockpit, so we step into the cockpit. I'm going to walk over to the plane. It's got a gold, black, and let's just have a look at the livery 1 second. A black in the middle, gold at the top, and then red on the bottom. The sheen, the reflections, absolutely magnificent. Every time, sometimes when I watch the streams back, it doesn't look as clear, but trust me, this is very clear. The FPS is at the top left. Yeah, so magnificent looking game. I've not capped the frames this time, because last time it still caused an issue. So let's go ahead and get inside. It's good to be back in the office. One of the things about the Citation, again, the open cockpit, there's no door in it. There's a nice area here for fire extinguishers. You see, there's probably cutlery in these drawers and an ice box, you know, a refrigerator. And then there's a bar here where they've probably got drinks and some snacks. And of course a waste bin down at the bottom there, which is very handy. At the back, if you're not familiar with the layout, it's an 8-seated configuration for passengers. There's not really any seats. I haven't seen any seats here for flight attendants. Got a small sign down there as well. So I'm assuming flight attendants could just sit down on these seats. Although to be fair, these are for paying customers only. The flight attendant probably has something to pull out in this area at the front, I'm guessing. So yeah, 8 configuration. You've got TVs on board. You've got an emergency exit at the top, back right there. Cup holders, USB ports. You know, light and air conditioning control, table light, seat light, table shades. Of course, you can pull these. I'm not sure actually. Can you pull these down on a Citation X? The window shades. I'm assuming you can if there's a button there. It says table shades, so possibly. A small TV there at the side, maybe to connect your phone and let them watch something. Lighting, of course, air conditioning, pull-out tables. Now we've got no tables open at the front. There's no way to open them here, unfortunately. But if we step into the back, we also have not just a different sort of configuration, but we can see the aircraft as it's meant to be used. So typically it would start as this layout, and then you would switch to perhaps they were chilling out on the flight, and someone might, you know, they might just decide to turn their chair and talk to their other business friends or friends here. Get the table pulled out, have a game of cards or whatever you guys do on these flights. You know, probably talk business, probably talk about your holiday plans, whatever else you're going to do in Las Vegas. No Las Vegas today. We're going to Bosnia, so it's entirely a business trip. Let's go ahead and get in the cockpit. Very nice looking plane indeed. And today you're going to be glad to know we're going up to 45,000 feet. So we're really pushing the boundaries of the atmosphere. Emergency power. course, APU. Pressurization is going to be 45,000. It's already pressurized to pretty much 45,000. Let's turn it down a bit. Now we'll wait for the passengers to get on board. Let's see if we can request a VIP car, executive's car, to come up to the aircraft and drop the passengers off. Nice view there from the back seat. Okay, very hot as well. The outside air temperature is coming in at 23 degrees in Venice. Massive airport. Flight plan pre-downloaded from SimBrief as standard practice on my streams. No messing around typing things in when it's a company route. Even if it wasn't a company route, we'd probably be able to do this anyway. So I'm going to load flight plan. Very easy to remember this airport. Is Lima India, Papa Zulu, and then we're going to Lima Quebec, Sierra Alpha. Activate, and we have a solid, strange departure but solid in terms of upload to the system. Now the departure we have filed is a ROSC 6 Quebec departure. So let's check that. So it's coming up. Let's select it. There we go. It's a bit better. And then the arrival. We perform the initialization. So I don't think they're going to bring anyone to us. No ground service at this. I thought we may be able to get pushed back. Sometimes when I've parked in spaces in the Citation before, the better pushback which I downloaded, which is an add-on for X-Plane 12, actually loaded up automatically, so that was cool. There was no need to click on it, it just popped up on the side for the Citation X, which I found really interesting. I haven't actually used, well, I've not been using the better pushback. I've been parking in spaces which require a straight out departure, so there was no need for it. Or at least a straight out taxi, but we're in stand 116. We are going to need a pushback. That's probably our ground service, but he's not needed. Poor bloke's just driven all the way here in the 20 plus degrees heat in a massive orange coat. We shouldn't say poor bloke. We should not have sympathy for him. That's his job. He's enjoying it. We do need to get the local QNH. There's no ATC, so we're going to have to do this all off of the X-Plane 12 data. I don't think there's any controllers in the region. Just check that runway departure actually before we go. Make sure we got the correct one. So 45,000. Initial cruising altitude, I'm not really sure. We'll just go straight up to 45,000. Let the vertical navigation do the rest. Fuel. So it's all looking pretty good. I actually brought extra fuel today. You can't change much in this FMC on the Citation 10, which is unfortunate. 1021, so very hot, very high pressure indeed. Let's go ahead and get that door closed. Pressurize the hydraulics. Yeah, so there's not much you can change in this. It's saying my required plan fuel is 3.1. Sorry, 6.3. I don't know, it's got rec as in required and then plan fuel. Okay, so we got enough. We got enough in there. We can't change it. ETA 53 minutes, that's total time. The actual air time is about 20 minutes. take off. Make sure you check this in case it's giving you the wrong departure. And you'll know it's the wrong departure because it'll give you the wrong runway. So runway 22. 22 left. Correct. 23, yeah, so wind looks good. It's automatic in this aircraft. It's picking it up on the sensors. So there's the V-speeds, and we can check down here on V-speeds on this little computer, this little screen, and click takeoff speeds, and it'll pop up. Of course, it'll pop up on the ADI, as you can see the references on there for us. They're very, very handy. This is the safe climb out speed. This will be this climb out speed after V2. So go to V and R. Okay, so we could go up to 47,000 feet. I think that's what it means when it says, let's turn that ignition off a sec. It says top climb, but we should go up to 45. Cruise. Yeah, we want 45,000, not 47. Landing speed about 130. Okay, let me just check that right cruise, everybody. We have 470 rather than 450. That's very, very odd. That is very, very peculiar. A little bit annoying as well. Unless that was from the flight plan, but the flight plan on SimBrief has given me a solid 450. Let's see what happens, and any problems we can always manually input the data. Flight plan's telling us to go up to it 20,000, and then that is absolutely bizarre. Like the data in this FMC isn't correct. So it's saying there 20,000, then down to 11,000, then back up to 14, then 47,000 feet, and then down to 41,000. So yeah, we're better off just going up to 45 as we originally planned. Okay, let's get the engines. Let's get the engines on. Let's get the lights on. So you want the fuel flow, fuel boosts, ignition. Very quick process on this aircraft. It barely takes 10 minutes. Okay, don't make that mistake, everyone. You're supposed to advance the throttles past the lock position in order to, because that's the fuel cutoff. That won't let fuel into the engines otherwise. So make sure that's open. Make sure the fuel can get in. That's why the engines failed to start. So we'll go ahead and try again. And you'll notice this time the N2 much quicker, and the N1 should spool up as well. The N1 is simply the fan speed. N2 is the internal temperature. Internal turbine speed. It's given it in percentage, so we're 60% of its maximum speed. And then internal temperature, or internal turbine temperature in the middle there. Quite hot, but we're allowed to get up to 800 for the start process. Okay, engine 1 successfully started. Let's go for successful 1 on 2. Let's turn the ignition to norm on number 1 as well. And fuel boost to norm, just for the time being. Just adjust the trim. We will lower the flaps once the engine's started. So, even though it's giving us safety up to 100% N1, Yeah, we would never exceed that. We would never exceed these limits during startup. We may do during takeoff. I've noticed it tends to overheat on the turbines during takeoff, and then it'll cool down rather rapidly. So left generators on, right generators on. We've had a successful start on both engines. Fuel boost on normal for now, but we'll change it soon. The beacons are on. We've not got ATC. One more check of the ATC, and I'll program in case there's anyone on Unicom. Okay. Quick flight control check. So, ailerons, elevators, rudders, and we'll check the spoilers as well. And we'll do the flaps at the same time. So flaps have deployed. Turn that APU off. Maximum cool because it's really hot. Make sure we cool that cabin down. We can increase cabin pressure as well. So yeah, that's it. Checks are done on flight controls. We retract the spoilers. Retract the flaps to 5. Trim slightly down. And we're ready to go. We get the taxi lights on in a sec. Better pushback hasn't illuminated, so I'm going to go on to plugins. Under plugins, better pushback. Pre-plan pushback. Again, if you're the developer of this particular add-on, the mod, consider adding a zoom feature so you can see your position relative to the runway.
Ground to cockpit, plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you are ready.
Thank you very much.
Ground to cockpit, tow is driving up.
We're about to see her in a second. Oh, there she is. Or he. Very quick. So yeah, trim's in the green. Flaps are set. Flight controls are good. Engine is very good as well. APU's come off. So let's turn the generator off. We'll leave the master switch on. Although you can turn it off. Of course, bleed air. We'll turn the isolation off. High pressure from the bleed air into the engines. Seatbelt signs on. Auxiliary pump can come off. So that's just to pressurize the hydraulics. If you don't do it, let's turn the...
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
Okay, thank you. So you should be doing it automatically. Yeah, so in regards to the pressurization, sometimes if you don't do it and you release the parking brake, you won't be able to reapply the parking brake or make anything.
Wincing strap and adapter in position. Release parking brake when ready to start pushback.
You won't have to do anything on the controls until you've pressurized it. So quick switch on for a couple of seconds, maybe even a minute, will help to pressurize it. Really, it should be done immediately, especially if you're on a bit of a slope. You don't want the aircraft to roll off. So yeah, isolation valves are closed.
Starting pushback.
High power on the packs, we want to cool down. 13 is probably a bit too cool, maybe about 14 or 15 we're aiming for. That's ideal. So supply is about 16, that's a good temperature for the cabin. Ladies and gentlemen, the captain speaking, we're about to depart. Taxi into the active runway of Venice, LIPZ Airport. Please remain in seats for now, we'll be there in approximately 45 minutes. Thank you for flying executive, we hope you enjoy the flight. Splice transponder on. Random squawk code. so we can identify as an IFR aircraft at least. Make sure I'm actually connected to VATSIM. Nope, that would help. So now we're connected. I can't see anyone on the VATSIM map, so I don't think we were wrong to start up and connect after. $45,000 unbelievable. Never been that high in any aircraft before, gaming or, you know, in real life. Don't feel comfortable that high if there's depressurization.
Go ahead and set the parking brake.
That's why it's important to pressurize your system.
Tail. Stand by.
Yeah, I wouldn't fancy being that high if there's a depressurization. You're screwed, especially if you've got the autopilot on and you pass out. You're not going to be able to get recovered at all, and you're going to be just dead. You're going to be gone at 45,000 feet, and no one's going to be able to help until you run out of fuel. So even if you're at lower altitude and you depressurize, you got a better chance of surviving than 45,000. With the Citation X, let's disconnect enhanced signals. So it's coming up now on the left. There we go. Turn that light off for you. You'll notice I've adjusted the view slightly. I noticed it was high, so I've lowered it because realistically, you know, I'm not going to see that high in real life. I think this is ideal.
We'll see you next time, and have a safe flight.
Alright, cheers, madam. So yeah, a bit better. It still looks pretty high up. I pushed it back a little bit into the seat because I was slightly forward. Remember, in the cockpit, even though it's small, the dash or the main controls are here. Main screens are here, and it sort of takes up a considerable amount of room. That's half the front of the aircraft. So you've only got a small window. It looks massive, but it's really it's quite small. Okay, he's giving his hand signals. That's lovely. And I've actually got one of those remove before flight things. Not that it means anything. Thank you for the signal. So we're giving him a thumbs up. Cheers, man. Thank you. He's probably thinking we're the most unprofessional corporate pilots right now. 1, 2, 2. Okay, that's not working on the comms up there, but it changed it down here. Very peculiar. Taxi lights on. Vertical navigation has been selected. On lateral navigation, but it's not coming up as 45,000 feet cruise. Can't change it once it's programmed. We're literally the only person here, so we'll be taxiing down Uniform Kilo. We are in fact going to have to taxi down runway 22 right. And then hotel. And we could take off from hotel. Fantastic. Clear left, clear right, cross check. Thank you very much. taxi down here and we'll cross over to runway 22 left. It's not an active runway, we do have to be careful still, aircraft do make mistakes, and of course there'll be other aircraft taxiing in real life. FMS, that'll be why the altitude and things won't appear. We can either carry on to the end and take a tail exit, a tango. We don't need that extra space on the runways. We're happy to take, I think it's hotel. There's quite a few taxiways here if you look. Judge show, we've got tango and then we've got a hotel there. Can take either one. Tango is more of a fast, high-speed exit, however. So you would typically taxi off that when landing. Okay, a few taxi lines here to follow. Nice and bumpy. And 2 holding points, one on the left, one on the right, unless we just passed it. Our mistake. So yeah, there's no holding point. I'm guessing we're only got, the only option is to taxi back. Do a U-turn, taxi back down there because we can't hold at this point. It's on the runway and I don't feel comfortable holding there because that's an exit. Let's taxi back. I mean, we shouldn't do this. Never ever do this sort of taxiing in real life. Say again, do not do this in real life. Always follow your pilot operating handbook and the airport procedures. Unless you've been approved to do a U-turn, which is unlikely. I'll give the traffic a call in a moment. We've not got anyone on ATC, so it'll be Unicom for now. LIPZ, Venice Airport is very, very empty, considering it's, you know, a Wednesday. It's really warm. It's good sunny weather. You'd think there'd be more people flying in this part of the world, but everyone seems to be off elsewhere. It's always going to look faster in the Citation X. Okay, here's the hold point. We do have a hold point here. Please bear with me one moment. I'm going to use the bathroom. Give the passengers a moment just to give them a couple of seconds to prepare for takeoff. Takeoff seatbelt signs are on, so please remain in your seat for now. If you're in England or wherever you're from, welcome in. I'm back. It's absolutely boiling here where I am in England. It's nice and sunny and warm. It's truly the peak of springtime. Not summer, there's only spring still. So we're about to depart. Let's go ahead and stick strobes on. Standard. Landing lights, takes the lights off. I have been starting to get into the habit now of putting the ignition to continuous on Citation X. I think norm might just be continuous as well. I don't think it is though. So we'll stick it on, ignition on, and help to burn that extra fuel that's going into the engines as well. Okay, parking brake is back here. Pull that off. Looking forward to this flight. I hope you are too. Windsock, and we're taking off on the wrong, not taking off into the wind, but this was the runway, strong crosswind we were given. This is the runway we were given, so we'll have to aileron into the wind, which will be to the left. Typically we'd do it full aileron, and then, you know, you would ease it up as you was taking off. Okay, so let's go. We set takeoff, go around, takeoff. We advance the throttles. Hopefully it doesn't reduce thrust on takeoff. Okay, full power. 80 knots. All over the place. Oh my goodness. There's that reduction in thrust we didn't need. Positive rate climb, gear up. Now we're following the white line on the map. That's our flight plan. Of course there's Venice. Parts of Venice at least. You'll be able to see a little bit more on our departing turn to the east. Middle markers. Flaps to flaps up. According to the FMC, we're cleared. I'm going to clear myself straight up to 45,000. Can stick VNav and LNav on now, and slaps retracted. Climbing at 210. It has given us 47,000 feet on the FMC. Maybe that's just the sort of better altitude rather than the sim brief altitude. Anyway, we're climbing nice and steady. At this point, it's typical you probably turn the ignitions to normal. Fuel boost to normal. Landing lights can stay on. We didn't make a call out on the radio, so we're alright, I think. There's no traffic in the area. And nobody ever uses Unicom, and I think I'm the only person who ever uses it. Never hear anyone else using the radios on that frequency. Safely speeding through to 7,500 feet. That might be at 210 knots. Good to have an extra speed though, especially in these conditions. Okay, since we're approximately 9,000 feet, approaching 10,000, I'm going to switch the landing lights off. Pitot heat's on. Window shield heat and windshield air. Cabin temperatures reduced to 16, which is good. We're not going to overheat. There's that first departing turn.
Bank angle.
Still being told to maintain 210. So it's not registered on it's not registered on the map that we've passed over waypoint. We might have missed it. We might just clear ourselves to I think it's Arlunk. Because this is a bit of a bendy roller coaster departure. So let's go ahead and just clear ourselves to that. Oh look. There we go. Engage the autopilot. In a second, we're on course. 270 knots now for our climb. And straight up to 47,000 feet, I hope. So it has come up with the standard arrival procedure, the BOS 1 November, and the approach is not in there, probably be an ILS approach into runway 11. Cool, so sit back and relax, we're a safe altitude now, so you're free to move out or take your seatbelts off, you can be served refreshments. The aircraft is steady. I'm going to turn half bank on. So that will make sure we turn at, rather than 30 degrees, it'll be a 15-degree bank angle, and that will just make the flight a bit more comfortable and prevent any spillages of drinks. You know, just to make it executive, which is what this is. I forgot to mention, we only have 4 passengers on board. It's a 2-pilot aircraft. So you have myself and the co-pilot, and we've got 4 passengers in the back, no cabin crew today. I don't think you need them on these kind of planes, to be honest. It's only an 8-seat configuration in the back there, and of course 2 pilots in the front, so I think it's probably going to pay off in terms of financial costs. You know, 4 people is enough to cover the cost of this flight. They will each pay the same price. There's no difference in cost for those seats. I'll see how fast this climbs compared to the 737. So it would take the 737 just to get up to this altitude. It would probably take 10 minutes, but it's taken the Cessna Citation X less than 5 minutes to do it. In fact, it would take 3 times as much time in the 737 as it would in the X, which is bizarre. So that means we'll be at 47,000 feet, probably less than 5 minutes. Probably less than 10 minutes, sorry. So yeah, very, very quick. Should really be timing it. Let's go ahead and time it from here. So how quick can it climb up? Let's find the clock. You didn't set the pressure, but let's set standard pressure. Timer. So there's the clock counting. And that'll time how long it's going to take to get to cruising altitude. Of course, the pilots on this aircraft can get off and have a toilet break and drink themselves. There's no, you know, this is private. You're not going to get the sort of problems you get on commercial. Although, to be honest, it's still commercial flights if you are paying for it. Very cool though, and I'll be doing some more flights in the Citation X, which will be... I mean, look at that view, that's incredible, which will be, you know, challenging. I've already done a few challenging landings offline. Take this as the thumbnail, please YouTube, this is a great screenshot. Being distracted constantly, but because the beautiful aircraft. Going back to my point about doing more flights from challenging airports, we'll go back to Courchevel, and we'll try and do other places like Saba, and I'll even go to maybe even Innsbruck again. And there's another place in Colorado, I think it's called Telluride, very high up airport indeed, and even the 737 struggle up there, so it'll be interesting to see the Citation's performance at such altitude. Let's turn half bank off. The reason is it wasn't able to do that turn, but if it wasn't able, it should have. We are going to have to stop that. I know it's going to be affecting the time on the climb. Usually if it can't do a turn, it will disappear. But today it's decided just to drive off in its own direction. So be aware half bank can limit. We are still climbing, so we're still counting. The clock's only been 2 minutes, so we've almost done that at 10,000 feet in less than 5 minutes at this altitude. We need the anti-ice on as well. Minus 52. I have to go back to manual flying for the time being. Less than 4 minutes. So, yeah, amazing. Can even bank quite steeply at this altitude with no issues. Wouldn't do it, really. You got CO on there, that's some reason illuminated automatically. I'm not sure what that is, I think that might be speed control. And also the speed is decreasing, so we'll have to be cautious not to pitch too steeply. Okay, let's try that. Such a pain this is. It's honestly a nightmare. The autopilot, not the actual aircraft. We'll leave half bank off and we just let it fly at 30-degree banks all the time. Top of climb is there. Let's see if we can make it. Transponder should be on altitude. There we go. So that departure was really unnecessary. We should have taken a different departure. We literally went from LIPZ Airport, which is Venice, up to the north a little bit, and now we're coming back down south. So we're still in Italy. I mean, we could have just gone south from the airport after takeoff and just gone over the Gulf of Venice and over the Adriatic Sea. But of course, I don't know why it would choose that departure route on Simbrief. That's not really... oh well, it happens in real life, I guess. Well, it gives another chance to have a look at Venice from the sky. Although it's a pretty crap scenery, so I can only apologise for the lack of care. Microsoft Flight Simulator just absolutely blows this out of the water. Scenery on that is incredible. Okay, time-wise, 7 minutes. So I thought we were going to make 47,000 feet under 10 minutes. I don't think we're going to make it just because it's so high up. Check the pressurization. Pressurization is good. You can see there. Cabin altitude up to 45,000. Yep. So this is, I believe, the differential pressure in the middle, the green thing. I'm not sure how to read that. That's cabin altitude in thousands. It's better to read this thing down here. Same thing though, it's saying the same information. Technically that cabin altitude should be, yeah, that's 6,000, about 7,000, and then there doesn't seem to be an option for like the outside pressurization, like differential pressure is just coming up as this inside scale there, so whatever that is, 8 something, 8.6 or 8.8, something like that, 8.6 I think it is. There's the top of climb as I mentioned before. We're not going to do it in 10 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and stop the clock. Okay, there's an aircraft over there on the right. I'm just looking at the TCAS. So that's the route we had to take. We had to go all the way up to the north and then back down. No idea that would create more noise and more pollution instead of just going straight out to the sea here. I suppose this might be a protected area during this time of the day though. Straight on to Bosnia, Herzegovina. For landing at Sarajevo International Airport. Please sit back and enjoy the flight. You'll notice the box up on the right. I find it really unprofessional. Really just brings this simulation experience down to a whole other level when people type in the text box. It's so it kind of makes the simulation worthless when you're on VATSIM. You know, that's what VATSIM's for. It's for voice communication. When people are sending these messages on the chat, you know, that's usually would realistically only do that if you're trying to change something like a flight plan, or if you had a communication failure on your aircraft. To actually send messages as the main form of communication on VATSIM is very, very, very unprofessional. It makes it look like a joke. They should ban that feature, to be honest. A lot of the things that are typed in chat are not even, you know, they're not. It's not proper telecommunications. Not telecommunication. Radio telephony. It's not proper radio telephony. Okay, we're very slowly getting there to 47,000. I'm really struggling to maintain that speed at this altitude. That's why I set the height for 45,000 originally, so I don't know why the FMC wouldn't just give us that altitude as we wanted. So let's go ahead and put 45,000. We don't overstress the plane too much. We might as well stick the fuel pumps on as well. They're on normal, but we'll stick them on as well since we're so high up. We've got anti-ice, check. Windshield heat's on, windshield air. I don't know if you can see that. It's quite bright inside the cockpit. Adriatic Sea right here. And of course Venice, or at least part of Venice over there. Go ahead and reduce the thrust. Let's reduce it to cruise. Only a slight reduction. Really high N1 though for the cruise. Probably higher than it needs to be. As you can see there, the speed is sort of border of 217 to 18 knots. Let's go ahead and tune the arrival now. ILS we need for runway 11. So that's the arrival. So as you can see, runway 11, runway 11, Lima Quebec Sierra Alpha Airport, which is Sarajevo International, Bosnia. Approach Bosnia 1 is Bosnia, ILS Zulu. For standard arrival procedures, Bravo Oscar Sierra November, 1 November for the star procedures. We'll activate that, so by the time we get down to Bosnia we need to be at 18,000 feet. We're very, very close actually to the top of the descent already. If you look at the map, we have top of descent coming up in probably less than 20 nautical miles. Yeah, so about halfway there. At which point we could start descending, so I could change some things now. I can change the altitude down to 11,000 feet. So it's saying there 46,000, 18,000. Go ahead and change it to 13,000, not 11,000 feet. When we get to the top of the descent, it should start doing it automatically. The land below is Croatia, just about above Croatia at the moment. So there's the sea. We'll be after Croatia, of course, we'll be entering Bosnia Herzegovina region. Now I've not flown it before, so I'm not familiar with the location or the scenery. I'm familiar with Serbia, however I've flown into Belgrade Airport many times. Never flown into Bosnia, especially Sarajevo Airport. Very cool view over the instrument panel. Almost like in a race car, Ferrari race car. The speed and power on the machine is unbelievably so awesome. Okay, so there's the top of the descent. As I say, it do automatically. What the autopilot does is it follows the FMC. So when it gets to the top of the descent, it'll realise we're supposed to descend. It'll then descend to the altitude we've programmed, which is 13,000 feet, or it might descend to the altitude in the FMC, which is 46,000, 18,000, unable 13,000 at LIPZ. Okay, so we'll probably just avoid that and keep at higher altitude until then. It might be because there's mountains, it might be for... It does look pretty mountainous, to be honest. It might be because of that, or because it's, you know, just an unsuitable height for the approach. Let's get the seatbelt signs on. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain seated. We are about to begin our descent in Sarajevo International Airport. We hope you enjoy the flight. Please remain seated until we've landed. Thank you very much. The top of the descent has arrived. The aircraft hasn't really changed altitude. It looks like it might be trying to, so let's reduce the thrust. The aircraft should pitch down to maintain it while descending, hopefully. We might just be applying too much power there. Let's see what happens. Top of the descent is gone though, so kind of concerning. Speed is dropping, we're not really descending. Click flight level change and get down that way. I'm pretty sure that should have descended even with vertical navigation. Oh, there we go. Vertical navigation reselected and it's working. Fantastic. And it's even giving us flight level 130 on there, so we're heading to the right altitude. Get alright, less frequency. We can either get off of the X-plane map, so as you can see we've gone past Croatia and we're entering Bosnia region now. You can get it off of that map, or I can get it off of the flight plan off SimBrief. Local QNH is 1020. We've got fuel available. Oh no, not available. No fuel at the airport. That's interesting, so there's no fuel supply at this airport. I don't know how aircraft are managing to get airborne if they can't get refueled. Okay, landing data, runway 11. So we got a QNH, the ILS frequency, if there's one available. It did say there's an ILS on this, is 110.70. We'll go ahead and tune that now. We want to make sure we've got it all programmed in. So 110.70. Navigation, as you can see, it's changed down here as well. And we'll change it on the co-pilot side just to be on the safe, just to be safe and make sure the system doesn't fail us at the last minute. After we've reached 13,000 feet, we're cleared down. Probably for the ILS, yeah, straight down for 5,400 and 4,200 final heights. The airport's actually really high up, it's 1,600 feet, which is considerable. 020. So it won't change until we click standard pressure off. Still on standard pressure for now, just to make sure the instruments are working until we pass the there's usually a transition altitude, and we don't have the information for the airport, unfortunately. I'm going to turn the fuel pumps off. Back to normal at least. The anti-ice can stay on, we're still at minus 52. So, if you don't understand what these mean, or you probably do if you're interested in planes, you might be a real pilot or simulator yourself. Sat temperatures, outside temperature of course, TAS is true airspeed, so they're actually going about 390 now, and then ground speed is 367, very very fast. We've broken a few speeding laws coming this way. And over this side we have standard instruments on an aircraft. Can we see it with the yoke? Yes we can. So of course the attitude indicator, speed on the left, altitude on the right. The blue level, the blue numbers are the flight level we're meant to go to in terms of the autopilots. That's what we've programmed. The pink numbers are the FMC numbers that were programmed by the computer. So if you look down here, 13,000 is in the computer, and the computer's put it onto the ADI for us. The target speed is not going to be, it's going to give us a pink arrow in this, but it's usually up here in pink, so 270 is target speed. Down here, FMS means we're following the flight management system, and Bosnia is the next waypoint in 37.8, 6 nautical miles. Vertical speed is about 2,000 feet per minute. So you can see all the information's there. We're heading, it's just down there on the left. Let me get rid of the yoke a sec. So 097. So sorry to teach you, lecture you a little bit, but I know people don't understand some of this stuff, and it's always interesting to be told it. LNAV is lateral navigation, so it will follow the FMC's route, it will follow this pink line. Vertical navigation will follow, of course, the altitude, which we've just talked about, which is in pink, and of course it will follow the speed as well. You can change that, you can turn it off. You can turn off the vertical navigation on the MCP and select things like altitude and no water throttle in this aircraft, so you know, select altitude and you have to control the speed yourself. I'm going to go ahead and tune our final height, which will be 4,200 feet it seems. Slight extension of the speed brakes there just to help us slow down, because we're quite close to the airport and it's going to be a straight in on this one. There's no downwind sector, we're literally straight into runway 11. And we're still at 25,000 feet. Let's go ahead and pitch down a bit more. Might be able to increase that rate of descent. That doesn't seem to be working. I'm going to select vertical speed, and I'm going to select quite fast descent rate now, about 2,500 feet a minute. 3,000 feet per minute. Very, very steep. Want to get down in time, so below glide slope is actually illuminated. Very, very early, we're nowhere near the airport. Okay, there's the map, so coming down the airways with a few other aircraft in the area. Sarajevo Tower. There it is. So this is the runway in the airport. Flaps 5. Still got a long way to go, about 16,000 feet. 14,000 feet. Landing lights can come on nice and early. Please remain seated. Anti-ice off. Any issues, please wait until we land on the ground. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We do have 4 passengers on board today, 2 of which are women, females, and 2 of which are men. I believe we're on a business trip to Bosnia. Runway should be out at 12 o'clock. Should be at the 12 o'clock position somewhere. LIPZ 5.5 nautical miles. We've got a slight turn to the right. So it's quite mountainous terrain. I can't actually see our landing destination. I can't see where it could be positioned unless I'm completely missing it. Can slow it down at about 180. So there's our approach. Not the best approach. We're kind of off the airway a little bit. I suspect it would have been easier to come down this L604 by the look of it. Down this, then take a left turn into final. Because that turn at the end there doesn't look very appealing, if I'm perfectly honest with you. Wouldn't fly that in real life. Not a chance. You would fly probably off to the right and then intersect it at a more appropriate angle, should we say, especially in a Citation X. (1,000 feet to go). So go around altitude, it'll probably be about 4,500 feet. Can set 1020 as the pressure. Landing lights on. Flaps 15. I think the airport may be over there, so we can fly over the local houses in Sarajevo. From Rivers to the final, we have approximately 3 nautical miles, and then from final to the runway, so it's about 6 nautical miles till we get so a good 6 nautical miles to prepare and slow down even more. That's fantastic. Now, hopefully the speed brakes will self-deploy this time. There's not really an arm feature on this aircraft to sort of manually have to extend them yourself. Thank you to everyone who's watching and welcome in. Really appreciate you being here on this fantastic Wednesday afternoon. Hope you're enjoying the flight. We're about to land at the final destination. If you want to see more flights in the Citation X, I have one planned for the next flight. Wherever we'll be going from there, we're going to be doing a very cool adventure in the Citation X soon across Siberia. So that flight will be from Siberia, Moscow, probably almost like the Trans-Siberian Express, all the way from Moscow to Vladivostok on Citation X. Not in one go, but we were taking breaks, stopping other destinations, and trying to fly different kind of approaches as well. Okay, we're about to turn on to final, as I suspected, through the little mountain bridge to the runway. In the distance, we cannot refuel here, so it's likely we'll have to source fuel another way when we take off here in the future. So there we are, we're on base and we're turning on to final. Just at the right height there to intercept the localizer, so the pink diamond is the localizer. It's coming up as slightly on target, which is good. And all we have to do at this point is wait for the aircraft to straighten up. It's a good thing we didn't descend any lower because we would have hit the terrain. As you can see, it says 5,400 feet there. So we're a little bit low. Obviously because of the mountains and the ridges and hills. When we straighten up, we can select the approach switch, navigation to ILS frequency, and prepare for landing. So you can see we're not quite lined up, so we won't press the glide slope, but we'll press the navigation. There's the runway. So the localizer is not actually pointing at the runway, which is concerning. We've probably not intercepted it properly yet. Oh, there we go. So it's following it, it's just not pointing in the right direction. Fuel pump's back on. The ignition can go to continuous. The ignition's on. As soon as this green diamond moves, and it is, I'll select approach, and when it gets this, it should, the GS is glide slope and that should illuminate green when we're locked on, which is when the diamond gets to the middle, or just about. So if you watch closely, the final for runway 11, there you go. So as it approaches the middle, glide slope was activated. So the aircraft should now descend down to the runway. So go around height, we'll set it for 5,000 feet. 5,500 just to be on the safe side, clear that terrain. Got massive mountains in the distance there. Gear down, full flaps. It's going to create a lot of drag in the aircraft. Nice strong crosswind as well. If we check the winds, yeah, we got 12, it's saying 12, 11 knots crosswind, so very, very strong to the left. Also got a slight tailwind. Makes it a little bit complicated. We didn't check our landing speeds, but I think it's about 130, 140 if we got performance data. Yeah, so about 123 for landing. Autopilot off.
Slow.
Okay, strong crosswinds blowing us down. Slight wind shear, I suspect.
500, light slow.
It will tell us if there's wind shear though, so hold it steady. Don't worry about the glide slope, we're fine. Everything's fine.
400. 300.
200. 100.
Flight slow.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Reverse thrusts. Welcome to Sarajevo, ladies and gentlemen. Please remain in your seats for now. We're going to be taxiing to the terminal. We'll be able to depart the aircraft. Strobes off. Taxi lights on. Ignition to normal. Boosts, fuel boost to normal. Pitot heats off. Window heats off. Blimey, how much there? We didn't need much runway on that landing. I think we barely used a quarter of it. Well, we just about used half of the runway. We took the first turn out. As you can see from the red line, we were straight down the centre line. I'll have a quick look at the replay after. See if I can get the replay to work, although to be fair, it doesn't usually work properly. Every time I try and use it, it lags and crashes the game. Okay, straight to parking. We have a parking space here, number 7. Yeah, that's fine. This'll do us. Number 7 for the executives. And we can go ahead. Actually, let's go to 7 Bravo. It's a little bit easier to park in. There's a BMW there, probably waiting to pick people up. Parking brake set. Engine shut off position. Flaps and slats retracted. Beacon lights off. Isolation valve can come open. Fuel boosts. Ignitions off. Fuel off. Standby power on. Emergency lights on. Seatbelt signs off. Turn the bleed air off now. Depressurize the aircraft. Don't worry about that, that's normal. Generators. Avionics, batteries. Standby power off. We just leave the emergency lights on so we can see what we're doing. So yeah, that's it. We're in Sarajevo International Airport. That was quite a good flight. It took a lot longer than I thought though. So let's step off the aircraft. Let's have a look at the... there's police there. Hopefully not for us. Hopefully there's no illicit dealings going on. Amazing landing. Amazing day as well. I highly recommend flying into this airport. It's quite nice. It has a beautiful scenery. It has a decent looking airport. There's not much here though. There's no refueling services, although we're literally parked next to what looks like a lot of refueling services. So I don't know what's going on with the avgas. Maybe they run out. Maybe they're not allowed to import it. But there's the Citation X. Looks fantastic. I highly recommend the aircraft in the game for this aircraft particularly. Thank you so much for watching, and if there's a delay I'll leave it on for a few more minutes so you can see the ending. So thank you very much for watching. My name is Grantham. Have a fantastic week. See you on the next flight.